As we continue to focus here at Monte Vista on certain collaborative structures or Kagan structures, we have decided to focus on the all-right round robin. There are two major steps to the all-right round robin. The first one is the teacher poses a problem to which there are multiple possible responses or solutions and provides think time. There will not always be a sentence frame, but if there is a sentence frame, give the sentence frame to the students before think time. Allow 20 to 30 seconds of think time. Studies show that beyond that, students are no longer thinking about the topic, and then the teacher needs to select which student out of the four will be going first. The second major step is that students take turns stating responses or solutions, each in turn talking about the same amount of time. Before students begin, they should have their whiteboard divided into 4 quadrants so that they can jot down the ideas as students share. They do not have to write in full sentences. It is important that students share approximately the same amount of time, and it is suggested that teachers go ahead and time this so students are not pacing themselves, i.e., person 1 has to talk for 30 seconds, person 2 has to talk for 30 seconds, 3 and 4 each have to talk for 30 seconds. If a student struggles to fill their time, if person number 1 is struggling to fill their time, persons 2 through 4 can ask them questions. Where did you get that information? Where do you see that in the text? Can you explain more? As students are answering, other students are writing down the answers on the whiteboard, and the process is repeated till each student has gone. You can round robin more than once. You can have each student go around the group 2, 3, or 4 times, depending on how much time you want to put into the structure. When following the structure, it's important that we follow the steps, the sequence, and we pay attention to the students. That is our focus. So we follow the steps as written. There's a reason the steps are written in the sequence in which they're written. There's a reason we give the sentence frame before we give think time, so that students are allowed to get their ideas together with the sentence frame. There's a reason that we ask students to think before they write. So we want to follow the sequence of those steps. We also want to pay attention to the students. Students will struggle with jotting down notes as their peers are talking. This is a skill that students need to acquire, that while somebody is talking, they can take down notes without writing verbatim what the person says. Through this structure, students will learn to start developing that skill. We're going to do another all-right round robin. Do you remember which one that was? Yeah. So what do you need to do to your board?
Oh, 4 squares.
You need to make the 4 squares again. So make your 4 squares. Okay. Shh. Let's take over the board with me. Go ahead and cap your marker. Cap your marker. Cap your marker. Put it in the middle of the table. So my question is, how does the dialogue show the narrator has been completely fooled by the Chang brothers? How does the dialogue show the narrator that that the narrator has been completely fooled by the Chang brothers? What is dialogue? Do you guys remember?
It's when people are talking.
When a person is talking, how do you know when a person is talking? You'll see quotation marks. So you're looking for stuff that is said by the characters, okay? Now, you need to think of what your answer is going to be. The sentence frame is the dialogue shows. It's very easy. So I'm going to give you 25 seconds of think time. During think time, you're not talking, you're not playing with the markers, so let's put all the markers down with the cap on like I asked you to. Let's put all the markers down with the cap on like I asked you to. Let's put all the markers down with the cap on like I asked you to. You're going to think of an answer to that right there. I just went over putting the marker down with the cap on. You opened it back up. Put it on your book there. That's fine, right there. That's fine. Okay, this is think time. You have 20 seconds. You shouldn't be talking. You shouldn't be playing. You should be thinking. Ready, set, go. Okay, you all know your numbers, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to help you this time. I'm going to try something different. I want you to find the box with your number and go ahead and write your answer down in that box real quick so you don't have to write when you're talking. So find your answer. Find your box and write your answer. Okay? Mr. Woodley made a mistake again, I realized. Yeah, so I didn't tell you how long you're going to talk for. You're going to talk for 25 seconds each person. You're going to listen for me to give you the bing bong. I'll tell you to switch, and we'll switch. But we're going to do two like a number heads together. We're all going to get up. We're going to lean in. Person number 4 is going to start. Everybody's going to write down what person 4 says. You're going to make notes. When Mr. Woodley says, person 3 go, you stop right then. Don't talk over. You need to respect everybody's time. And they're going to start. You need to write down what every person says. What do you do if person 4 is standing up and can't fill the 20 seconds or the 25 seconds? Ask questions. Where did you find that? How do you know that? Where does it say that in the book? Can you tell me more? I will give you each person 25 seconds. Person 4, you're going to start. Everybody stand up and lean in together with your whiteboards. Everybody stand up and lean in together.
I don't know what the diamond is.
Okay, person 4, go.
The author shows how the dialogue is used, like when someone is talking in a story to someone, when someone's talking to someone, they're talking to someone, and that's what dialogue means.
Where'd you find that? No, but that's supposed to be on top. That's supposed to be on top. That's supposed to be on
You should all be standing and leaning in together so you guys can hear each other. That's not cool. Okay, switch. Bing bong. I let that one go on too long. I'm sorry. Switch. Person 1, go.
The dialogue shows that kind of whenever it says just a moment, I'll be right back with the C it shows quotation marks and it says I cried.
Okay,
And then you
Bing
tell what
bong.
they
Person
say.
1, it's your turn. Go.
Yeah. Person 1, he just listens too. He likes to go, right?
Mr. Woody, you said it twice. Just go to the next
Just go to the next person. I'm sorry. Next person.
Go, like to go. Like to go.
But the same thing as
I'm really good.
Switch. Switch.
Your turn. What? No. The dialogue. Are you bad? Stay tall. That's here. I know.
we're talking about dialogue. We're talking about dialogue.
Okay, stop. So that's a little better. I see more people with their boards filled out, but I still see a lot of blanks. You should be writing as people are talking. I'm going to give you a second here to get your final thoughts down on what people said. So after seeing the structure in action, it's important that we take a moment to analyze whether the structure has the elements of pies that take us from group work to true collaboration. Was there positive interdependency? Yes. Students were working together on the same question to come up with the same answer, to reach consensus, and to share out. Was there individual accountability? Yes. Individual accountability was created through the whiteboards and through having the students talk for the same amount of time. Was there equal participation? Yes, there was equal participation because students had to share for the same amount of time. They also all had to write on the whiteboard. Was there simultaneous interaction? The goal for simultaneous interaction is anywhere between 25 to 100% of your class. The neat thing about an all-right round robin is that you should have 100% of students engaged at all times. Whether they're speaking or writing what's being said, they are fully engaged in the process. There are some procedures and routines that if you put into effect or in place before attempting to do an all-right round robin, that will make your life a lot easier. One would be to master number heads together, especially if you do a time number heads together where each student has to talk for the same amount of time. It would also be suggested to have an anchor chart of prompting questions. What kind of questions do you want students to ask when their partners are stuck? Carry a timer as the teacher and always keep an eye on the time, how much think time we're providing, how much time we're having each student talk, and try to make it as even and as fair as possible, sticking to the times that you stated. Provide quiet think time. It is difficult not to talk over think time. We want to prompt and remind students, but the more we talk, the less they think. And then we want to establish whiteboard and marker routines. Where do you want whiteboards to be when students aren't using them? Where do you want students to park their markers so they're not a distraction when they're thinking? These routines need to be established before moving forward to make your life easier.